I have 7 o'clock. I'm going to give it another minute or two, see if we get anybody to kind of come in and join our meeting tonight. Excuse me. All right, folks. Sorry for the delay. It is 7:03. Just rolling by it on September 21st, 2021. My name's Scott Weldon, and I want to welcome you to the South Carolina chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, as we well know at NORML. Before we get started, I am going to read our disclaimer. And that is that all of our meetings are an environment of education and awareness and are not an open market for the sale, purchase, or distribution of cannabis. We do not encourage or condone illegal behavior of any kind. Again, welcome. My name is Scott Weldon. I'm the Executive Director of South Carolina NORML. This is our monthly general meeting, public meeting. This is open to members, non-members, just are open to the public. And our agenda for this evening, if you did not catch it on our post before, we'll first start off talking a little bit about national legislative news, state legislative news, chapter business, committee reports, upcoming events here locally at our local chapter, or at our state chapter, should I say. Again, I want to welcome everybody that is joining me, anybody that might be here with us on Zoom or joining us as we go on, anybody that may be viewing this as we're streaming it live on YouTube, and also welcome anybody who is viewing this as a recording on YouTube later. Mentioning YouTube, I do like to point out that we are not monitoring the comment section on the YouTube stream. So if you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave them down below off to the side, wherever it is on the comment section. We'll visit the comment section when YouTube is done rendering the video, usually 24 to 48 hours. And we will, at that time, try to address your question, comment, and or concern. Again, my name is Scott Weldon. I'm the Executive Director of the South Carolina chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with marijuana legislation for the most part, and what's going on locally. Thankfully, I do like to point out to a lot of you do have the opportunity to almost every Monday, most Mondays, should I say, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, our national political director, Justin Streckel, is usually doing a live Facebook Zoom or Facebook stream, Facebook Live, I guess they call it, called Marijuana Mondays, every Monday at about 4 p.m. and not every actually, but most Mondays at about 4 p.m. Eastern time. So thankfully I get to sort of cheat a little bit and go and watch that little video. If you want to, go to NORML's Facebook page, and you'll find it there in the video section. But to sort of briefly go over what's going on at the federal level, the top item at the moment is the Safe Banking Act. You've heard me talk about the Safe Banking Act a number of times on these conversations. The more I listen to Justin, the more I kind of understand what's going on, or you kind of catch on. It really does not apply a whole lot to South Carolina because South Carolina does not have legal, medical, or recreational cannabis. And I'm assuming the hemp industry is exempt or is not at issue with that. Anybody who may know, again, leave it in the comments for me. I'm thinking because the 2018 Farm Act legalizing hemp and the sale, I guess, of hemp, that they are allowed to use banking services. And now, mind you, you're listening to somebody here who has never been to a legal marijuana state, either I've never been to one of the 36 medical marijuana states or the 18 plus DC states that are legal for recreational. Mind you, I used to live in Pennsylvania and they are now medical use and moving toward recreational adult use, being pushed by their governor and lieutenant governor. But I haven't been there since that had happened. I moved to South Carolina before that. And when just real quick follow up for those that may be watching and don't know, when I moved here, I did not find a NORML chapter in the Charleston area. And since we founded what used to be Low Country NORML, other chapters in South Carolina have evaporated. So we were asked by National to take up the role of being our national representative. So we try and watch what they're telling us and things like that. Like say Justin on Mondays. Tuesday, if you want to know more state level type things, there is Carly Wolf. Does a Tuesday at, I believe, 2 p.m. Eastern about state level legislative news. Again, she doesn't have anything to talk about in South Carolina at the moment. She's talking about right now about some of the states they're coming up with marijuana ballot initiatives in states that allow marijuana or ballot initiatives. But that is beyond, again, our scope for this evening a little bit. Good place to keep up with those type of things. Tonight, we are going to just sort of parrot as best I can Justin a little bit and talk about the Safe Banking Act. And there are businesses in legal states that are unable, that are all cash businesses. They're unable to use credit card companies and processors and that type of thing because of the Controlled Substances Act and being equated with drug kingpins and things of that nature. And so the Safe Banking Act is looking to create a safe harbor for those that are operating under legal state law. And this is headed up by Representative Ed Perlmutter. And what I It's something I've talked about a number of times and never really seen a lot of activity to it, but I understand that yesterday, and I don't know the results of it yet. Let me see if I can find them for us. Yesterday, there was a Rules Committee meeting to take up the amendment to add the Safe Banking Act to the National Defense Authorization Act. That's an appropriation act to fund the Defense Department. And my understanding is, you know, Justin was cautiously optimistic that this would be attached and be able to go through earlier than anticipated. They're seeing if it on its own may take a little bit longer, may take like till next year, where if it got added to this, it could move quickly. And let's see if I have a little bit more information here for you. I'm going to share a link with you. There's a letter sent in support of the Safe Banking Act being attached to the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act. And so if you want to read through that whole thing on your own, you're welcome to, but for the most part, Justin says it's critical to balance the need to accomplish comprehensive reform at the federal level and to make every effort possible in the immediate term to support the successful state level programs to ensure safe and efficient consumer access to quality cannabis that is cost competitive in the unregulated market, with the unregulated market. NORML maintains that the NDAA is an appropriate vehicle for the safe banking provisions. According to the American Legion, nearly 1 in 4 veterans reports consuming cannabis. Most do so because of its therapeutic effects to mitigate symptoms of a physical or mental ailment. To date, a supermajority of U.S. Senate, states, and territories have enacted medical cannabis programs. To date, a supermajority of U.S. states and territories have enacted medical cannabis programs, and close to half of the total American population now lives in jurisdictions where adult use of the substance is permitted under state law. Yet the ability of business to operate in a way that provides safe and affordable access to cannabis is unnecessarily difficult because of their ongoing lack of access to basic banking services. So anyway, you can follow that link if you like, and you can read the full letter in that link. But basically, we're stating that NORML supports the Safe Banking Act being attached to the NDAA, the National Defense of the Authorization Act. Like I say, that was supposed to be going on yesterday, and I do not see on their live feed or on their blog anything specifically about the answer to that. So we'll see how that comes out, and we'll keep you posted. The second thing that I want to talk about tonight at national level is the World Anti-Doping Agency. They're going to review their marijuana policies. Again, if you go ahead, I'm going to share a link with you here. And basically, many of you may remember back a few months ago during the Olympics, Sha'Carri Richardson was tested positive for cannabis, and the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, they have announced that since then they'll be now reevaluating their policies. Currently, WADA deems THC the primary psychoactive compound of marijuana, a substance of abuse, in quotes in the letter here, on its 2021 prohibition list. All cannabis-based products except for cannabidiol, or CBD are banned in competition. That means that if THC is found in an athlete's system on the day of an event, that athlete is subject to punishment. In July, thousands of NORML members sent messages to WADA, as well as to the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA, I think it's USADA is pronounced, but deeming that they reconsider the existing policy to bring WADA and USADA into compliance with the shifting legal and cultural standings of cannabis. Further, NORML partnered with allies at MoveOn.org on a petition that garnered nearly 600,000 signatures. Go NORML and all of our followers and our supporters. Members of Colorado NORML joined MoveOn organizers on July 15th to deliver the signed petitions to USADA offices in Colorado Springs, Colorado. At the time, the leaders of the Colorado NORML issued the following statement. Sha'Carri Richardson is one of the fastest athletes in the world and would have a real chance of winning the 100-meter sprint in the Summer Olympics this month. But due to an outdated and arbitrarily enforced rule around marijuana, she's now going to be kept from competing on the world stage. With over 580,000 signatures, nearly 600,000, we're pivoting to putting pressure on the decision makers, USADA and IOC, to revoke the suspension of Sha'Carri Richardson, remove THC marijuana from the banned substances list, and pivot to a broader push for federal legalization. It doesn't say here on this page, but they actually had a 1 mile walk where they walked these 1 mile, signatures, petitions into USADA's offices in Colorado Springs. So it was an event put on by Colorado NORML. Thank you, Colorado NORML, for all your efforts there. That I think is very cool. Athletes and others who consume cannabis legally in their private lives should not face discriminatory action. This reevaluation by WADA is a positive first step to address these outdated policies. All righty. Now, I want to kind of revisit back a little bit to the Safe Banking Act. Now, I finally remembered a little bit about one other thing when I was talking about that, saying how attaching to NDAA was a way to move it forward a little bit more quickly. One of the reasons is because as it stood on its own, it wasn't really going anywhere. The Reconstruction Act that's going on right now, the way I heard it stated is, that's sucking the air out of the room, not really allowing focus on anything besides that until that gets taken care of. Other legislation is going to languish in there wherever they are. In committee are waiting to be seen on the floor. So anyway, that's just a little bit of how legislation works. You've got some things and the legislators will focus on that and completely ignore other until that is taken care of. So let's hope that that gets taken care of and they can move forward with this, or it gets added to the NDAA, which should definitely move it forward. All right, let me close this up on the World Doping Review. And that is the most current news I have for you as far as the CAOA, the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act. The responses were sent in from NORML a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if I can find those quick. Early September. There we go. That was the beginning of this month. Basically, they submitted the comments, their comments, and basically compiled comments from all the people that commented to them, to the CAOA about the draft, how it could be improved. And my understanding now is Justin is just trying to get face-to-faces scheduled so they can have some sit downs and discuss how they can move. They are, again, cautiously optimistic, but until that Reconstruction Act moves forward, a lot of this stuff is just not going anywhere. So we don't know how long it'll take them to do a final write-up and proposal of this. But I'll keep you posted again as I hear back from Justin on his meeting if and when he gets it scheduled. Not so much if, but when he gets it scheduled. So we will keep you posted on that kind of stuff. CAOA is again the Senate, or let me get this right. The Senate version, what used to be the MORE Act, it is the act to deschedule marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act completely. And unlike another descheduling act out there, I don't know the name offhand, this also then includes social equities, I guess is the best way to put it, expungement, that kind of stuff. Funding back into communities that were hardest hit by prohibition, and that we feel that although there is the MORE Act in the House, we'll see more action and activity on this one as it gets finalized and gets rolling. Okay. Like I said, I don't think I have anything newer on that. Let me just take a quick minute and look. No, best way to do that, again, I'll remind you, is just on Facebook. Watch Justin every Monday at 4 p.m. or most Mondays, 4 p.m. Eastern time for Marijuana Mondays with Justin Streckel, our political director. State or national political director. All right. Next, we'll just kind of touch base briefly on state legislation on our agenda. And double check I'm following the agenda here. There we go. And as we've mentioned before, no, we are not in active legislation right now, at least not for the cannabis bills. Bear with me. I did read something that they were being called back in, probably talking about mask mandates and things like that. So cannabis will not take a precedent on any of that stuff. We'll have to wait till January. Excuse me. And also nothing locally going on. Kind of will roll our local into our coming events. Because as many of you know, we are trying to plan an event for January, the South Carolina Cannabis Convocation seminar and trade show. I'm hemming and hawing a little bit because we've just kind of been watching about the resurgence of the COVID Delta variant coming through. We're watching other places canceling events, postponing events, changing how they're operating them more virtually. We really like the date of January 15th, right after the beginning of legislation of the legislative session in 2022 here in the state. So we're definitely actively looking for participants. We're looking for especially nonprofits that may have be affected in one way or another by cannabis decriminalization, criminalization and or decriminalization, whether it affects how you your supporters or your clients in one way or another, and decriminalization would be beneficial to your clients or your supporters. And you can address, you can discuss with us, how you address that. Love to have you. If you're a business that supports ending criminalization of cannabis, we have a limited number of spaces for our vendors, but reach out to me. Visit our website, normalsc.org, and go to our contact page. You can reach me through there. And again, we'll keep you posted on the dates. I mean, if we do have to, we will postpone it. We definitely want to try and make sure we have it kind of before the primaries, which should be early June. So we're talking, we'd want to have it probably no later than in April. Maybe we can even roll it into an April thing if we have to postpone it that long. I don't know. I want to proceed with an abundance of caution. I don't want to, put anybody's health at risk, especially my own. Some of you may know that my health hasn't been the greatest over the past 2 years here. I think I've gotten some recent answers that may help me a little bit with one of the issues, but that's neither here nor there for our meeting. But just an abundance of caution. We will probably try, and we've already got it scheduled to have a reduced number of participants and attendees. But if you're interested in participating as a vendor and or want more information as an attendee, reach out to me. Again, our website, NORML, NORMLSC.org, ORG. Go to our contact page and you can message me there. You can always find us on Facebook. We do respond to messages if it's through Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget though, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, if you go to our website at normalsc.org, scroll all the way down to the bottom and sign up for our newsletter. We usually only send them out once or twice, once a month, plus maybe a few reminders here and there during special events, special occasions. But otherwise, that is it for tonight. I really don't have anything else to talk about. We're going to kind of cut it short here at about 7:28, maybe less than a half hour. Boy. Thank you for joining me. If you joined us out on our YouTube channel, or thank you for watching if you watch us at a recording. Again, my name is Scott with the South Carolina chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Look for us here every third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. for our monthly meetings, and we will go over what's going on pretty much legislatively, national and statewide, and then what's going on with us locally here at our chapter and our upcoming events. Besides that, don't forget every Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's every Wednesday. And a lot of times I run out of stuff to ramble about, but every Wednesday is the South Carolina NORML Cannabis Conversation. And our cannabis conversation is varying subjects from time to time. Tomorrow night's cannabis conversation, we will be talking about marijuana decriminalization talking points. So don't forget to visit us there. Again, thank you for joining me. I will see you next month for our monthly meeting. And otherwise, hope to see you on our conversation. Have a great